The Earth is a truly beautiful and amazing place. It's blessed us with wonders and nature. But every year, it seems like humanity experiences a terrible tragedy that spans the entire planet. Whether it be a crisis, a virus, disasters, war, it seems like every year we're encouraged more and more to just die. Now, the whole world is shrouded in a new pandemic, the coronavirus. And we're all scared, since there are already fatal cases and we do not know how to treat this disease. Today on Facts in Box, we'll take a look at some of the most terrible crises of the last 20 years. The year 2000, Y2K. This problem was due to the fact that developers of software released in the 20th century sometimes used two characters to represent the year and dates. Some computers already had hardware processing on this date, but two digits from 0 to 9. And we all know that after 1999 came 2000. People were unsure how computers would manage to display this date, and as a result, a lot of people panicked. People thought that this could cause the failure of some critical applications that run on technology. According to some experts, the total amount of global investment spent on preparation for the year 2000 amounted to $300 billion. Experts predicted that such a crisis could destroy humanity. But nothing happened. 2001, anthrax infection. In 2001, an outbreak of anthrax was recorded in the United States, which came to people through the mail. It was believed that this was an attempt at a biological attack on humans. Letters with a prescription of the causative agent of anthrax were sent to television studios and politicians. They were glued so that infectious spores slowly scattered along the entire route of the letter. Over the next 5 months, 5 people died from the pulmonary disease, and among 17 were infected after contact with the letters. People were horrified at the idea of such a biological weapon being used. And the most horrific part was that nobody knew where the danger might lie. 2002. West Nile virus. For a long time, the West Nile virus, which causes a slight malaise, was known only to virologists. However, at the end of the 20th century, a new variant of the virus appeared, which over the course of several years infected almost all the populated continents. The danger of the new virus was that some patients developed severe encephalitis. It's not easy to avoid infection. The virus circulates in natural foci, and mosquitoes can even be carriers. In 2002, an outbreak of the virus was recorded. All media from around the world insisted that a new epidemic could destroy us. In the news, real facts about the virus were escalated, and here we are. Humanity is still alive. 2003, SARS. It all started in China. The first cases were recorded in Guangzhou province in mid-November 2002. Subsequently, scientists were able to reconstruct the entire path of infection and found the culprits, a colony of cave bats. But before that, a wave of panic swept through Asia, Europe, and the United States. 2005, bird flu. A number of Asian countries suffered from outbreaks of bird flu from 2003 to 2005. It was at this time that the number of people killed by the virus steadily increased, and the first case of transmission of the disease from person to person was recorded. It was previously believed that only birds could carry this infection. This virus led people to feel a bit depressed, because people thought that we could all die at any time because of this bird flu. But we didn't. 2006, E. coli. The initial outbreak occurred in September due to contaminated spinach. This contaminated spinach and iceberg lettuce was eventually served in restaurants like McDonald's. Mankind was once again preparing for mass extinction, but we survived it. 2008, poor economy. The global economic crisis began in the United States. World trade fell by a record 10%. It took until 2011 for this to be restored. However, it was still significantly behind the pre-crisis growth rates. People predicted mass unrest in society and even war. But nothing happened. 2009, swine flu. The pandemic of a new strain of influenza virus began between March and April of 2009. In which many people were infected in Mexico City and other regions of Mexico. Even some parts of the United States were infected. Everyone was again frightened by the fact that there were more and more deaths. There was no vaccine, and you could only wait for the epidemic to be over. 2010, BP oil spill. This was an oil spill that occurred in the Gulf of Mexico. It was the largest spill on the high seas in US history. The spill occurred as a result of the explosion of the Deepwater Horizon oil platform on April 20th, 2010. The ecological disaster frightened the people of Earth. How could something so bad happen to our planet? 2011, Obamacare. The legal framework for healthcare reform, which has become one of the largest projects in U.S. history since the mid-1960s, was an initiative to reform healthcare by U.S. President Barack Obama. It is considered to be the main achievement of his presidency. Under this reform, everyone is required to purchase health insurance with subsidies for the poor. But the reform was contrary to the Constitution. This prompted a sad mood in society, which unsettled not only the inhabitants of America, but of the world. 2012, the end of the world as predicted by the Mayans. According to the Mayan calendar, this year was supposed to be the last year of human history, but scientists have not confirmed this theory. But that didn't matter. The whole world was in a panic and waiting for the world to end. Because the Mayans had successfully predicted many things before, people assumed that this prediction would also be correct. The end of the world inspired mass cultural figures to create a number of works and drew general attention to the culture of the Mayans. The whole globe was ready to leave for another world, but all this turned out to be just a bunch of hogwash. However, it was a good situation for advertisers. 2013, North Korea. The Korean crisis, also known as the Korean Missile Crisis, is a continuous series of tension between North Korea, South Korea, the United States, and Japan. It began after the launch of the Gwanghwamun 3 satellite by North Korea and a nuclear test on February 12, 2013. The crisis is characterized by extreme escalation of the rhetoric of the regime of Kim Jong-un, the new ruler of the DPRK. Everyone thought that the Korean crisis could lead to global annihilation. But nothing happened. 2014, Ebola. The Ebola epidemic in West Africa began in Guinea in February of 2014 and continued until December 2015. It traveled outside the host country and spread to Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Senegal, and the United States. It also spread to Spain and Mali. The case is unique in that the epidemic of this fever began in West Africa for the first time, as a result of which doctors in the affected countries had no experience in dealing with it. As the pandemic spread, so did misinformation. Various national health organizations all over the world had deployed funds to help the Guinean government combat the epidemic. Of course, the media used this as an opportunity to say that this will destroy us all and humanity will not live another day. But nothing happened. 2015, Disney Measles. Measles is an acute infectious viral disease with a high level of infectivity. It's characterized by a high temperature of up to 40.5 degrees Celsius, inflammation in the oral cavity and respiratory tracts, conjunctivitis, and characteristic spotty papular rash. According to the World Health Organization, in 2015 to 2017, more than 150,000 people died from measles in the world. Of course, such numbers can cause panic if you don't know other death rates on our planet. 2016, Zika. The largest outbreak of Zika began in 2015 in South Central America. The Zika virus began to spread rapidly in Brazil in 2015, and by the beginning of February 2016, it had spread to 33 countries and territories on 2 continents. In January 2016, the World Health Organization announced that by the end of the year, the virus will cover most of the 2 continents. 3 to 4 million people will be infected. An emergency meeting of the World Health Organization was held in Geneva on February 1st, following which the situation with the Zika virus was recognized as an emergency of international proportions. 2017, Fake News. The phrase fake news was so common in 2017 that the Collins English Dictionary recognized it as the word of the year. The dictionary interprets this phrase as false, often sensational information that spreads under the guise of news reports. According to forecasts, information wars were supposed to begin, which could eventually lead to death. But so far, nothing has happened. 2018, the Migrant Caravan. The caravan left the center of San Pedro de Sula in Honduras on October 12, 2018. On November 19th, it arrived in the city of Tijuana in Mexico, and they camped in an open-air stadium. According to various estimates, the caravan was comprised of 7,000 to 10,000 people. Experts believe that this could lead to uncontrolled migration and, as a result, to a crisis that would destroy humanity. 2019, Measles. A new, strong outbreak of the disease was recorded in 2019. 413,000 cases were confirmed at the end of 2019. 2020 Coronavirus. Judging by various data from various Chinese virologists, coronavirus could be transmitted to us from animals. According to genetic data, the virus has relatively recently adapted to humans. One of the worst days for corona was February 10th. On that day, 108 people in China died from the coronavirus. We're afraid of various pandemics, but it should be different. Let's compare how many people died on the same day from other causes. Unfortunately, suicide claimed more lives than the virus at 28. Moreover, mosquitoes kill 2,740 people every day. People kill people 1,300 times every day. Snakes kill 137 people every day, and about 50,000 people die from heart attack, stroke, or heart failure per day. 40,000 people die from hunger every day. AIDS takes 14,000 lives every day. Cancer? 5,000. 6,000 people die per day in accidents. About 3,000 more people die every day in the world as a result of traffic accidents. 500 people die every day from drug addiction, and twice as many from alcoholism. 1,500 people per day die from smoking worldwide. Take care of yourselves, guys. Wash your hands and calmly survive a new crisis and a new epidemic. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time on Facts in Box.